We have a lot of wines here,
Yes.
okay, and a lot of cigars. But the question I want to ask you is, what are the principles?
Pleasure. That's it.
And that's really nice, and that's why I wanted to ask you the question, because a lot of people, like you said, concentrate on like the regions and all of it. Yes. Hey, welcome back to our channel. Today, as you can see, it is a bit of a different setup. I am joined here by Ken. He is gonna do us a little bit of a masterclass. We thought about this. He's very well versed in the wine world, also in the cigar world. We will hear from him an introduction. But the idea of the video today is how to understand wines and how to understand cigars, especially when it comes to pairing. Because it's a question that I get asked a lot, and I think there is a bit of a stigma behind pairing cigars with wine. People think you can't do it. But anyway, Ken, thank you for being here. Please let me know a little bit about yourself. Tell people who are you, what you do, and how you came to be with wine and cigars.
Lovely. Lovely to see you as always. Masterclass is a bit of an overstatement, I would say. What we're gonna do is, walk people through how they can pair, their favorite wine or their favorite wine style with one of their favorite cigars.
Yeah.
So we made a bit of a selection of wines and cigars from Casa Carrillo and some wines from around the world to play a little bit around, and hopefully people can pick up a few things.
Yeah.
So as Lizardo said, I'm Ken. I come from both worlds, the wine and the spirits and the cigar world as well. I love wine, and I do drink wine more than I drink anything else more of the time, even though I'm a rum lover and a whiskey lover and all the good stuff. And basically I've been developing a career in wine for some years, and I find always an excuse to add cigars into the blend, into the mix. Whether it's when we're doing events together, whether it is for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I love to pair wines and cigars.
Exactly.
It's also a pairing that to me seems very comfortable, it's a cozy pairing, if you wish.
And that's why I wanted you to be in the channel and talk about it, because out of the people that I know, you are the one that are very in love with wine and cigars.
Yes.
Most people will just go with rums or even coffee. I'm one of them, love coffee, love pairing it with cigars. But I've always seen you as the guy who loves to pair wines with cigars. And I think it comes to your knowledge on the cigar and the wine industry. You can, you understand about wines, and you will be able to pair it better with cigars. But we'll come to that in a bit. Just tell us a bit about yourself. How do you get into, because you're from the Dominican Republic?
Yes.
How do you get yourself into, obviously, cigars, I understand, but into the wine world as well?
Yeah, cigars is like a given, right?
Yeah.
From the island, so it's like kind of automatic.
You were brought up with that.
Absolutely. With the wines, it was 100% curiosity. I
right.
just started to be curious about it, and when you start to be naturally curious about something and you start digging and like reading a little bit about it and searching stuff, then you get hooked. And once you're hooked, that's it. So that's what happened to me.
Similar story here with cigars.
Story, same thing to you. Oh, I'm curious about that. And then that led me to develop a career in wines for the last 15 years. It's a small family as cigars is. Cigars is even a smaller family, right? So once you're in, it's like one thing takes you to another. Next thing you know, 10 years have gone by, 15 years have passed by, and you go like, what happened?
Yeah.
So it's basically like that. So that took me around the world. And the more I explore wines and the more I explore cigars, the more I fall in love with it. And actually, even when I don't know about a wine, or I've never tried the producer, or I don't know about a specific cigar, I think rule number one is have an open mind towards it. So, right? So sometimes we've tried some stuff that were not supposed to work, or came out of nowhere. We didn't think too much about it, ended up working and enjoying and being very enjoyable. So off we go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But so we have a lot of wines here.
Yes.
Okay, and a lot of cigars. But the question I want to ask you is, what are the principles? What should you think about when you're thinking about pairing a wine with a cigar?
Yes.
What is it the strength? Is it the body? Or what should somebody who is thinking about doing a pairing think about before they actually start drinking and smoking? I know sometimes you can just grab something off the shelf and just give it a try and it might work.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have some principles, some 100%. Understanding of how it works.
Yes. Rule number one, no stigma. Open your mind and be willing to try, because in wines and cigars, it's both science and art. 2 and 2 is sometimes not even 4,
Yeah.
or it could be 5 or 8. So that's number 1. Number 2, all the rules that you can apply to pair food with wine, many of them actually work to pair cigars and
right.
wine. It's a similar experience. I think out of the box, the first 2 rules is you can pair by contrast and you can pair by similarity. That's
Okay.
super basic. What does pairing by contrast
Yes.
mean? It means that if you have, let's say, a fresh or actually the most classic contrast pairing that you can do with food is red meat with red wine.
Of course.
Because the red wine is juicy, is tannic, and it's astringent, and the red meat is salty, is greasy, is powerful. So you have these 2 giants fighting for, to conquer your palate. So you have the grease of the meat making your mouth completely full of coating your mouth with that oiliness and saltiness. And you have the fruit and the tannins of the wine cleansing that oiliness and saltiness. And then by similarity, the most basic one, if you want to think about, is when you pair a fresh green salad with a white wine that has notes of fresh citrus fruit and grassiness to it. There's kind of similar to the salad in a way, so perfect pairing. Yeah. So if you take those 2 principles and you take them to cigars, we can play with that a little bit as well.
Okay. So I hope you guys understand roughly where this is going with the pairing when you're thinking about a wine with a cigar, and it's not just wine with cigars. It'll be spirits, even rums and everything
Coffee,
like that.
hot chocolate,
yes,
all of that good stuff.
Okay, so this is just a general pairing rules, let's say.
For sure.
What techniques would somebody need or should think about when trying to understand the cigar or understand the wine in the palate, so that because not everybody is versed and have tried a lot of wines or cigars. So just simple, we don't need to go into very detail, because this is about enjoyment. It doesn't matter if there's a technique but you are going against the technique and you still enjoy it. That's what matters. Am I right?
Absolutely, 100%.
It's what you like, so just go with it. But there are a couple of techniques of being able to enjoy a bit more of the wine or even the cigar, to bring out those notes and understand it better and see if it works.
Absolutely. So there's a shortcut. So why do people go through all the trouble of learning name of the producer, name of the region, the grapes used there, the aging in barrels? Why a lot of wine lovers go through all that trouble, let's say? Some of them, many of them, is because we're truly passionate about the story and geography and everything behind it, but actually is to get to one final point, which is, what's the style?
Yeah.
So if you just shortcut through all of that and go through directly to style, you get your answers. For example, you arrive to a restaurant, to a wine shop, and you know nothing about these wines, but you ask, Lizardo, can you tell me the style of this wine? Can you tell me, how is it? And the person behind the counter or at the restaurant will tell you, well, this wine is high acidity, low acidity, strong tannins, soft tannins, velvety, silky, smooth, strong, woody, cedary. And they will start telling you all these descriptors. Some of them are hilarious and some of them are quite normal. And that will give you an idea. Got it. Now I understand what I don't need to know necessarily if it's from the south of France, the south of the US, the South Africa. Like, I don't need to know all this. So once you grasp that style, and let's say you're already a cigar smoker and you know your favorite cigars, you already have a ton of information to say, so maybe this rich, silky, smooth red wine could go well with this fantastic, silky, smooth, medium body cigar that I love from fill in the blank, Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic. You have everything you need there. You can do a lot of damage with that information and have a lot of pleasure. That's it.
And that's really nice, and that's why I wanted to ask you a question, because a lot of people, like you said, concentrate on like the regions and all of it. Yes, if you start, like Ken just said, and then you want to dive deep and you want to understand why it's smooth, why this wine, then you can go that far. But to enjoy it and to do a pairing like that, you don't need to go into all of the details or become a professional wine sommelier of cigar.
Focus on style.
Focus on style.
Yes.
And that goes with the wine, even the spirits, with
And
cigars.
the cigars, we can do the other way around.
Exactly.
If you are a cigar smoker or a wine drinker, and you want to jump into or have an experience with cigars, and you know your wines pretty well, you know what you like, you know which styles you like because you've tried some stuff, then you can go into a cigar shop or retailer and say, okay, what is the style of this cigar? And without knowing wrapper, binder, filler, where this comes from, without actually knowing the origin and what was the master blender wearing when he rolled this back in the farm, whatever, you can have all the information you need to then make your cross the bridge to the other side, to the wine side.
Yeah, because it goes similar. You know, they'll be able to describe it's creamy, is nutty, is grassy,
Absolutely.
chocolatey, has these notes and that note, and you're able to pair it. Would you recommend pairing a wine with a cigar that have similar notes, or could it be opposite? Could it be
100%? There's only one particular thing that, as the same thing that as we said for wine, you can do similarity and contrast. There are other factors within the wine that will define that style of the wine. It will be the alcohol content. It will be the amount of wood or the lack of wood. It could be maybe there's no wood. Maybe this wine has never been aged in oak. The type of oak, if it's American, if it's French, all those factors, which I can make you a long list, region, climate, altitude, latitude, winemaking techniques, all of that will define the style of the wine. Now, in cigars, you have something very similar. We talk about flavor profile, we talk about strength, and we talk about level of complexity or other notes that can be added to the mix. And all of that comes from where? From where you pick the leaves on the plant and how much ligero is in this cigar, and where is this wrapper coming from? Is it Ecuador, Sumatra, or is it San Andres, Mexico? Because they're completely different. They will evoke different aromas and different flavors. So you can dive super deep into those stuff, and it will take you back to the point that is of most interest, which is style of cigar, style of the wine. But yeah, I think strength is probably the most sensitive factor on the cigar side, because when you have a light cigar, you need to be very careful where you pair it, what you pair it with, whether we're talking spirits or wine. So just be mindful of that. If you have a wine or a drink, for that matter, that is too big in terms of style, complexity, structure of flavors, for the cigar, it will completely mask the cigar and you will feel nothing. The other way around, if you have a very strong cigar with a very weak, delicate, light wine, then the opposite. Try to find balance. I think balance is also a key word, and you'll be fine.
But do you mean, when you talk about strength, do you mean like nicotine strength or the body of the cigar, the flavors of the cigar?
Actually, great question. Two things: nicotine and power of the cigar. Of course, strength, pure strength. When you talk flavors, yes, we can talk about the intensity of those flavors. It's so funny because when we do wine tastings, we speak in the exact same language. You have the actual structure and body of the wine, which is mainly given by alcohol, wood, mainly, which is the tannins. And then you have the flavors of the wine, which can be described in many ways, and the intensity of those flavors and the intensity of those aromas. Same with the cigar. So it's funny because sometimes I think I'm speaking about the same thing because the lingo is very similar. Very, very similar. So yeah, strength.
Strength.
Yes.
I hope if you've just watched up to here, you already got a grasp of how to pair a cigar. But now we have a few wines here, and as Ken is part of Carrillo,
yes,
right? We have some Casa Carrillo cigars that he's going to run us through pairing with different style of wines. This is just an example of cigars, an example of wines. The idea is for you to understand what to look for on a wine and how to pair with it, or vice versa, with a cigar. So Ken, if you can walk us through, we're going to go for a little tasting myself, and him together, like a little, what do you call it, like a little workshop thing.
We're gonna drink.
Yeah, we're gonna drink. That's the excuse.
That's it. Fancy names. We're gonna be
We
drinking.
couldn't have all these bottles without drinking.
Absolutely. By the way, you don't need a tie to drink wine. I was just happened to be
Or a
wearing
hat.
tie. Or a hat. This is just part of the style. But anyways, speaking of style. But yeah, actually, we don't have to drink because since we've been trying many wines and still morning time for us, we have a spittoon, so we're doing the responsible thing, which is spitting it out, okay?
Maybe.
Probably. Exactly. So,
That's the idea.
yeah, so we made a small selection of wines. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible for now, so we did only reds, even though we can make a whole series about white wines and sweet wines and sparkling wines and rosé wines. Like this could go for a long time.
Yeah, and it's something that I would like us to continue doing. If you guys would like to see that, just let us know in the comment. Because obviously we could go through like even champagnes, sweet wines,
Yes.
rosé, white wines.
Absolutely.
Summertime, you're gonna drink something different to wintertime, pair with a different cigar, what to look for.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
Yeah, that's a whole universe there. So we tried to keep it short and sweet. So 4 wines to try together and try to discover which one of the cigars that we have here with us could go well with them. And hopefully at some point we can get to actually test it because we cannot smoke here. Yeah. There are fire alarms all over the place. But if we can get to do this together, actually that'll be really fun. But anyways, we start with Chin Chin.
Which one is that?
So that's your Bien Nacido. So
Bien
it's
Nacido.
this one. Salud.
Salud.
We've tried already all of these wines. I want to pick your brain. If you give me 2 words that you feel about this wine, whether it's in the aroma, in the texture, or in the flavor, happy to listen.
Well, I'm not well versed in wine, but
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I would say it's a bit light.
Light.
Yeah.
Let's start right there. 100%, my brain is going to go all the way to my humidor and think, what do I have that is light body? That's it. Exactly. That's the start of the conversation. And then that will take your humidor and actually reduce it to a selection of light cigars. We started, of course, we organized these wines in an increscendo way. So we start with the lightest wine and we move our way up the ladder. And we're trying an American wine from Bien Nacido State, which it's a lovely Pinot Noir, traditionally a light variety or a variety with less body. So in our selection of Carrillo cigars, what do I have that could fit the bill for this? I have one cigar in particular that might be a good option for this wine. This is Carrillo Essence Sumatra. This is a Sumatra wrapper, Nicaraguan blend with a touch of sweetness, but very, very light. I would say medium to low, not even medium. I would say just reaching medium in strength. It has very delicate notes, so I have a feeling that this could go very well with this Pinot Noir on a pairing by similarity.
By similarities, okay.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, that's it.
Nice.
Now, if we want to move to level 2, which is, okay, we identify the body of the wine and the body of the cigar, how about the notes? What do you get?
Is it a woody note? The aftertaste, the tongue is a bit...
Little touch, nothing too
wood.
crazy, yeah. So
And I would
there's
say
a little bit of wood in your cigar, so it's okay.
There's obviously a fruity note as well.
How about the acidity? How much salivation do you feel in your mouth?
A little bit.
Little bit of salivation, so nothing too crazy
Nothing
acid,
too crazy.
nothing too flat.
But it's
Quite balanced.
that... Is it, how would you describe that? The
Say it.
dryness? Is it
A bit
dry?
of dryness.
Dryness in
yeah,
your...
a bit of dryness. It makes you salivate, not too much, and then that dryness are the tannins.
Yeah.
If you don't feel a ginormous amount of dryness, it means it has lower tannins or soft tannins or tannins that are not too aggressive or too intense. I think it will absolutely not. It will not cause an unpleasant experience with the cigar.
I think it'll
so that would be my recommendation. We can put it to a test next time we're outdoors.
Yeah.
Actually, fantastic.
That was
This is
nice.
number 2.
And you see, that's how we start. the body of the wine is light cigar, like Ken said, and then maybe you can find a note that will go well with it, or pick up a note in the wine.
Which is maybe the easiest thing to pick up is it a light, medium, or strong drink? On anything.
Yeah.
Is it a light feeling? Is it a strong feeling? Or is it a medium feeling? I think that's the easiest way to pick up. Yeah.
Nice. What are we doing next then?
Let's do the Cornas.
Cornas.
This is south of France. What do you feel on the nose?
Nice.
Tell me what you feel on this nose.
There is something there, isn't there?
That you did not feel on the first glass. Say it. I know you know. Because you smell a bunch of cigars, so I know you can pick it up. No pressure.
Yeah, thank you.
No pressure.
There is something there. I just can't put my...
Say it. I'm pretty sure you know it. Just
it's like meaty as well, man.
Yes.
It's meaty.
Exactly. Beefy, like umami.
Beefy, yeah, like umami. That's the right, yeah.
What else? Fantastico. What else?
I'm not that bad, yeah?
So, this is you before. Did you try this before? No,
I haven't tried any of them.
I have tried it already. But... fantastic! You just for kicks and giggles, Lizardo went to the nose part beforehand, which is like what you should do normally in a professional wine tasting. First the sight, then the smell or the aromas, and then the mouth. But again, fantastic! You went to the nose. You have that meaty umami aroma, and there's something else.
There's depth in it. There is
100%.
Depth. The other one was a bit lighter.
So without drinking it, what do you feel in terms of body?
I would say, so if this is a light,
yeah,
in cigar terms, this is a light body,
yeah,
this would be more of a medium.
At least medium.
At least.
And let's see.
Yeah.
Fantastico. Lovely. The other note that we might find on the nose, and again, this is the same with cigars. The more you smell this thing, the more you practice your nose and you pick up more aromas. I think there's a tiny bit of pepper. There's a tiny bit of leather as well.
Leather, that's the note.
I know you know, because you smell leather all over the place in cigars. So,
leather, that's the one, yeah.
Without tasting the wine, that gives me an idea of what could work with it. But let's just taste it. Salud. Cheers.
Salud.
Hay mucha información acá in terms of the mouth feel.
Yeah.
There's so much more going on here.
It's a bit more fruity as well, I would say. A bit more flavorful.
More flavor.
More flavorful.
Not necessarily more fruity.
Yeah,
this
not
is probably
fruity,
fruitier,
flavor,
but more flavor. The flavors are more intense.
Yes. The strength, although it's a bit stronger, I wouldn't say is full body or anything. The color is a bit darker,
Still
which
elegant.
would make you think, creaminess.
Yes.
Very creamy. Not much salivation as well, if I don't find it too...
Balanced acidity.
Balanced acidity.
Okay. Nice mouth coating, huh?
Very nice.
There's a distinctive...
Even my lips, everything. Like
in your gums and everything. There's a distinctive taste on the palate that you've tried this in cigars, so I'm going to pressure you to say it.
Why are you doing this to me, man?
What is it? Forget about fruit. It's something else.
Is the leather...
Close to leather.
Tobacco? Wood.
Wood.
It's the wood.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel the oak. You absolutely feel it. There's this like, it feels like licking a drawer or like an armoire or something like that.
I always think of like the Habano boxes.
Yeah, listo. Yeah? Exactly.
When you open them and you smell them.
Exactly.
That is what that came to my mind.
Absolutely.
Not licking a door.
Absolutely.
I don't do that since I was 5.
Door if you want. No judgment. It's okay. Fantastico. So that gives us all the information we need. So in my mind, this will
So it's woody, creamy, medium body.
Yeah.
These are like the main things.
Yes.
And flavorful.
Yeah, yeah. I would say this.
Oh yeah, really woody now.
Yeah.
Now that I've more air, more oxygen has gone, and
you feel it more. You let it rest,
woody,
and it stays
very
there.
oaky. It's not cedar. It's oak.
Correctamente, and it stays there for a bit, and you're like,
really nice,
woody taste. Okay. So these, in my opinion, will probably go well with many of the cigars here, actually. I would say at least 3. I forgot to mention, I think I have the feeling, but let's see once we finish, that the first one will also go well with the Cameroon wrapper.
Okay.
Because this is very light flavorful, touch of sweetness. It's so delicate that I think the Pinot Noir will be the wine that will probably least compete with this cigar.
Okay.
If it does compete with it, then I will think of something else. I will think of a Chardonnay with oak or some sparkling wine, but that's for another conversation. Maybe this will be the least risky pairing. Now, for the second wine, absolutely. If you want to start, 100%. So I like Pledge for this for a few reasons. Even though Pledge is a full body cigar, I think the flavor profile of this wine goes fantastically with this. So in terms of similarities, and they can pair very well in terms of contrast with the strength, because this is quite powerful. The Cornas is not that powerful. It will bring things down. It will calm things down a little bit, if you wish.
But this cigar, if I'm not wrong, because I think I smoked that one before, is strength. Nicotine strength is quite high.
Yeah, it is.
But the flavors are very clean and very delicate.
I would say they're very also rich. They're
rich, but they're not overpowerful like they.
No, but you can feel them. Definitely, it's leathery. It's earthy. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in flavor here. So I would say I wouldn't risk with something lighter than exactly what we had. But I like the fact that the wine we had is not as strong. So it will calm things down in terms of the mouthfeel and the warmth and everything of the cigar. It will calm things down and make for a very pleasant or una experiencia placentera. Mucho placer, a lot of pleasure. So anyways, that will be my bet.
Nice.
Good stuff.
That woody note really stays, like I know you picked it up straight away.
It's still there, absolutely.
But I picked it up after a bit and it was really oaky and it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. It lingers.
It took me a while to pick it up.
It's a very long wine, and I don't want to get too technical about this, but long wines give a ginormous amount of pleasure for cigars because the flavor of the wine lingers for quite a bit. Yeah. So you can have a few puffs, and as you move along, the flavor of the wine is still holding your mouth. So it's like it stays and it accompanies every single puff, or more puffs than others. If it's a short wine, if it's a wine that doesn't have that length and that depth, it's all good, but the wine will disappear quite soon and it will be a different experience. Very interesting. Yeah, this is the main word that comes to my mind when I drink this wine is equilibrio, is balance. Exactamente. I think there's probably two cigars here for it, but definitely Allegiance, definitely.
Okay.
This is a very balanced smoke with lots of flavor, mostly of coffee and un poco de tostado, like toasted or roasted. Nothing too crazy. Very, very balanced across the smoking experience. So I think this will go fantastic with the Toscana. I would probably say that also the 15th anniversary, but I'm tempted to leave the 15 for the last wine because I think we will need more to hold the 15. This I think will go fantastic with the Toscana. Yeah. Really interesting. So this is a blend of Nicaragua and the wrapper is Ecuador Sumatra. And we make this in Nicaragua with the Oliva. And it's called Allegiance because of the allegiance between Oliva and Carrillo. It's a fantastic smoke. Oh, right, I really enjoy this cigar.
And you said one of the main notes are coffee notes.
This is very coffee roasted, but very, very balanced. Wood notes, bit of nuttiness, but extremely balanced and very, very elegant from start to finish.
Yeah, so I think the nuttiness will go well with it because there is a bit of like nuttiness in the wine, I think.
Yeah, from the wood. 100%. Yeah, like nutmeg, maybe a bit of clove.
Yep.
Now the nose on this is so different from the Cornas. Yes. The Cornas is more animal, umami, beefy, meaty, peppery, leathery. Yes. And this is
so. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this is very elegant because the notes are more spices like clove, nutmeg, nutty.
It's
very good.
You know, when I used to watch videos like this, I used to think, especially with cigars, what are these people talking about? Because sometimes when you drink...
Nonsense. That's what I'm talking about.
Sometimes when you drink or you smoke, you might get the mouthfeel. That's one of the things. Obviously, the strength you can pick up. But when it comes to like woods and nuts and all of this, what I would say, I don't know if you can correct me on this, is with cigars, just try different cigars.
Absolutely.
Different regions, different strength, different brands.
Yeah.
With wines, an exercise like this, put different regions and different wines together
Yeah.
and try them one after the other one.
Yeah.
You don't need much, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Around your mouth, spit it out if you want to. Then you're able to understand the difference, because here is really clear what the difference has been between each one of them.
100%. It's so evident.
Yes.
Especially when you're doing an assessment, when you have them side by side.
Exactly.
It's like right here, right now. Absolutely.
So when you're watching videos like this and people are talking about all these notes and stuff, and you think, I don't pick up any of that, I don't find any of that, maybe I'm doing it wrong, or I don't know, or my palate is not developed. Do an exercise like this.
Yeah.
I really advise, not just with the wines, you can do with whiskeys and everything, just have little bits and then try them one next to each other. You might not be able to pick up all the little notes, but you'll be able to see the differences much quicker.
Absolutely.
And then slowly, you train your palate to understand what you're drinking.
And it's just fun. It's just fun. You're going to have
mean,
a lot
you
of
gotta
fun.
drink a lot.
Absolutely. Responsibly, by the way. But before you get to do something like this, do me a favor, go to your kitchen, open your pantry, and smell every single thing that's there. Clove, vanilla, nutmeg, whatever ingredients, whatever ethnic background you have, or whatever things you used for cooking. I'm Dominican, so I can tell you we use a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff we use.
Just smell everything, and then open the fridge, smell all the fruit or whatever you have there. If it's fresh fruit or whatever, trust me, you'll pick up all of that in wine, in cigars, and in flavors will become a bit more familiar. Because sometimes there's a long time you don't smell a particular aroma. And once you smell a couple of times, you'll go like, wait a minute, that's I know where that comes from. This feels or tastes like such and such.
Yeah, because it's not like the cigars or even the wine is dipped, apart from the oak, they're not dipped in chocolate or spices or anything.
I wish.
Yeah. But they pull this up from the terroir, from the soil with the, what do you call it? The nutrients of the soil. That's where...
There are many places where actually flavors and aroma comes from. Of course, every single step along the way in wine production will affect the style of that wine, therefore their aromas, strength, flavors, etc. So yes, from certain regions, there are already studies that show that, you can have certain components in the environment, in the climate, microclimate, soil composition that could be correlated to the flavor, structure, aromas, blah, blah, of the wine. But if you don't want to get too crazy about that, go all the way to the point where the wine gets aged. After you did what you did in the vineyard, you have the grapes, you turn them into wine, another one is going to go through oak. So oak provides a ginormous amount of, in a natural way, flavors and aromas, and actually it gives the wine strength to withhold time, and it gives the wine longevity. Wood is the best friend of wine in many cases. Some wines don't have wood, some wines go through wood. And that wood, depending on the origin, if it's American oak, if it's French oak, etc., will add those components, will add those flavors and aromas. And if, as a rule of thumb, if you think of American oak in wine, which actually the wine I don't want to spoil it, but anyways, it will add some particular notes to that wine, and the French oak will add some other particular notes. I don't want to say it now because I don't want to mess up what's happening here, and I want to put Lizardo on the spot a little bit. So that pretty much come from that oak aging, and of course the typicity of the grape. What does that mean? What does normally that grape, whatever is Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, what are those grapes naturally, if you left them alone, naturally,
profiles and...
Yeah, what is the actual profile of that grape naturally? It's a peppery grape. It has notes of bell pepper. It has notes of bubble gum or fresh fruit. Like those components sometimes live in the DNA of the grape. So it's a combination of all those beautiful things that make the final product. And now I want you to try this.
But sorry, before we do that, going back to the point, what I was trying to get at is not that the wine or the cigars are dipped or flavored by any way.
Correct. Yes.
There are notes. So the example that Ken said of going through your cupboard and smelling all your spices and everything is a great something really good that you should do, because what happens is your tongue starts making a connection with that something that you smell. The spice is because it doesn't really taste like red bell peppers. It has a note, and then your brain is the one that makes the connection. But if you've never tried red peppers, you will never be able to say, oh, that's the note.
Absolutely.
So when you're watching videos like this and people come up with notes, especially I see it a lot with different, when people make videos from different regions, they might compare it to the traditional foods. They might say this spice or this chili or this that you don't find like in Europe, for example. Like we come from South America, we have our own spices.
I'm Caribbean. You come from South America.
Okay, I'm from South America. The best part of it. Well, not too far away, man.
It's okay. Let's not
Venezuela is not too far.
Can we not get political? I'm kidding.
Anyway, the point here is you need to try foods, smell things, experience. Same with the cigars. You got to try a lot of cigars.
Go to the market.
Yes, yeah. A market is the best place
Best.
to try this.
Yeah.
And then once your brain registers that note,
You're done. That's it.
then when you start drinking and smoking, then you're able to make that connection much easier.
That's it. Absolutely.
Enough of that. I hope you guys take note of that. I think it's a good point. Let's carry on.
Let's do it.
Where are we now?
That's glass.
What is this?
Try it.
No, the name.
Absoluto. This is a beautiful wine from Rioja that I'm really happy to work with. This is Ramirez de Ganusa from Rioja Alavesa. This is Tempranillo, almost 100%, with a bit of Graciano. Try it out.
This is a lot of body to it.
Tell me more.
Still, it's clean. I don't know if that's a way to explain it. It's very clean. It's not as complex, I would say, as, for example, the one we tried, the Cornas, which was very meaty. And
It is complex. It's just not heavy. It's
yes.
Yeah.
There is a bit of, in the nose, you can smell a bit more of the alcohol compared to the other ones, I find in this one. But it's well balanced though. It's let me try.
Interesting. Actually, it's the same level of alcohol on all the wines. Let's see.
Tannins as well.
Yes.
Not as bad as, not as much. Was it the Italian that had a lot of? Yeah, I think it was the Italian.
Cornas is very intense. Very. This is very.
No, I mean in the tannins.
Love.
What's the one? I think it was the last one we tried that was gum and everything. So it has tannins, but it's not as much.
The tannins of the Tuscan wine was a little bit more predominant. You
Yeah.
could feel it in your gums. This tannin, I don't feel as much in my gums. It's silkier.
It's silkier.
It's a silkier
Yeah,
tannin.
it's not creamier. It's silkier.
It's
That's
silkier.
the right
Fantastic.
word.
Yeah.
It feels a bit elegant.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that for a wine like this, a fantastic pairing. I'm tempted to choose two cigars, but I'm going to stick to one for one particular reason, just to make one point clear. This is the 50th anniversary from Casa Carrillo, and this is a cigar that has been aged. The tobacco that we use to make the cigar has been aged for 10 years on the wrapper, 15 years on the binder. This is a wrapper from San Andres, Mexico, and the binder is Jalapa, Nicaragua. Also, the filler has been aged for around 7 years, and it's a combination of about 6 or 7 tobaccos, so there's a lot of complexity in the cigar, which makes me feel very tempted to pair it with a wine that is also very complex and elegant without being very too loud.
Yeah.
Because if I love the Cornas, for example, but if I pair the Cornas, the second wine, the French, with this, I'll think it will be too much.
The wine
will say too much. And this, in case of the 50th anniversary, is a medium strength and generous on flavor. With Rioja, I think we're feeling the flavors are very present, very particular, and very generous on the flavors and the aromas. But the strength of the wine is very delicate. It's very silky, smooth tannins. It's not a loud wine, so I think it will pair by similarity. Yeah. It will go very well with the 15th anniversary.
Yeah. And this one is also long-lasting on your tongue. I find that.
Yeah,
it lasts.
Absolutely, it's a very long wine.
Long wine, yeah.
High acidity, because we're drinking 2016, which is not super old.
Oh, earlier I said alcohol.
Yeah?
It's not the alcohol.
What is it?
It's the acidity.
Ah, fantastico. Yeah.
It has more acidity than the other ones. And again, I'm not an expert. But it's acidity.
So acidity is a very interesting component because acidity will help the wine also with longevity. It's kind of like the espina dorsal del vino, como si it's like
the spine,
the backbone.
The backbone.
It's like the backbone of the wine in many cases. It would allow the wine to travel through time and to get better through time because it has that vibrant tension that keeps the wine alive and fresh for a long time. And it's interesting because all of us, it happens to all of us, we sometimes have issues trying to define what is exactly that I'm feeling. Is it acidity? Is it astringency? Is it warmth or alcoholic sensation? Is it a flavor, a particular flavor? I think there's no correct answer into how to get to discover that. As you try along and you discover stuff and you go back and forth, you will try to identify. But a few pointers, if you're feeling a warmth, hot kind of feeling with a drink, whether it's spirits or wine, that might be the alcoholic reaction. That might be the alcohol volatilizando. That might be the alcohol volatility coming out of the drink, and you feel that warmth. And also, if you're not sure about that, after you drink, you feel this burning sensation. That's alcohol. There's nothing else that will make you feel like that, whatever you're drinking. Now, if on the other hand, you feel a Listerine effect, mouthwash effect, like your mouth like this, the dry, that's astringency. And astringency in wine is tannins. So that's a very, very easy one to detect. And the other one, super easy to detect, you just have to pay a little bit of attention, is acidity.
Yeah.
Once you drink, after you have swallowed the wine, if you don't move your mouth and you don't swallow again and you let saliva build up,
a lot of saliva,
and you almost feel you're gonna make a mess and act like a stupid person in front of people, that's acidity. So you can have that feeling or that sensation on the side of your mouth, and that saliva building up, that's acidity. So it's easy pointers.
This one is very, make me salivate a lot.
Yeah,
and it helps. I'm finding that is helping the longevity of the wine. The flavors are still
could be, but it also you mean the length of it? Like
the length.
It makes it feel longer because could be related to length. But there's also another thing that is happening psychologically with this wine,
right?
That like you don't normally think of this unless you're thinking of it, which is things that make you salivate. It's like una reacción condicionada. It makes you want to eat. High acidity activates the natural acids of your stomach, and it kind of prompts you for food. This is very aperitivo in a way. It's not supposed to be an aperitivo wine. It's a red wine, but stay with me. That high acidity kind of invites you to give me something else because things are getting activated. These sensors in my body are like, put something in my mouth. Anyway, so that's also part of it. It's kind of psychological and biological, I guess. I'm no doctor, but think about that for a second. I'm starving, right? But that might be unrelated.
But it is a really nice wine, actually. And you said you'll pair with a 15-year-old Carrillo. Yeah.
With this one. Yes.
Okay, so we done with the exercise? I got a couple more questions to ask you.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, we have 10 minutes or so let's absolutely do it.
So obviously we're pairing red wine, and as we said at the beginning, we will try and come back to this and give you more in-depth information with white wine, champagne, and things like that. But I want to just quickly, is there any particular like red, white, or whatever that pairs better with cigars? Or there's not really, as long as we get the contrast with the bodies and stuff?
Fantastic. As long as you have the principles, there's no rule of thumb. Yes, a lot of people would say that chances are that most there are more options in red wine to pair with cigars than white. But I also want to disagree because there's so many white wines and many of them that go well with cigars. I don't have the exact number of how many, but it's such a vast spectrum of whites that there's so many different styles that would work. So yeah, I would say don't get into those boxes.
Yep.
Just follow a few principles, trying to taste as much as you can responsibly, and then open your mind to think that sometimes even things that do not make sense, at the end of the day, if it tastes fantastic and you're enjoying it, it tastes fantastic and you're enjoying it. And that's
the main point, if you enjoy it. So
that's it.
if you're a person who enjoys champagne and don't like red wine, because not everybody loves red wine.
Absolutely. Not everybody likes spicy cigars.
Exactly.
Not everybody likes strong cigars or mild cigars for that matter, or big cigars. So I think it's a matter of preferencia, preference as well.
So whatever you like, try some cigars, different cigars, and then you'll be able to, using the principles we mentioned in the video earlier, you'll be able to find something.
And have some fun in the meantime.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. You know, it's quite fun.
Yeah. What are some common mistakes that you see people making when they pair cigars and wine? I know we mentioned a couple of things, but if you want to just maybe even go over some of them, or if anything we missed.
Judging the quality of a cigar or the quality of a wine for a pairing that was not meant to be.
Okay.
Because it could be an amazing wine on its own, an amazing drink on its own, an amazing cigar on its own, but just because it doesn't work together doesn't mean that there's something wrong about them.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the pairing, actually. So preference is subjective. Quality, I don't agree that it's subjective. I think quality is objective. If it's a good cigar, it's a good cigar, because there's some technicalities behind being a good cigar or being a good wine. Whether you like it or not, by all means, that's on you. So I think most of our mistakes, and it happens to all of us, is our preconceived ideas, is misconceptions.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe you had one particular bad cigar from one country or region in particular for some reason. Or maybe the cigar was not even bad, it was in bad conditions, and then you judge every single other cigar from that region because of that poor experience. So do not let one experience ruin the rest of the fun, because there might be a lot of fun around the corner.
Yeah, I will also add to that, because I've heard it a lot, for example, with cigars and with wine. I'm sure same thing. French wine is the best one. I only drink French wine because it's French wine, or Cuban cigars because it's Cuban cigars. I personally don't think it comes to one is better than the other one. I think it's personal preference. You either like these wines or you like these wines.
Or you like them all.
Or you like them all. Like I like them all, same with the cigars.
Yeah.
But I do see a lot of people just gravitate into a region because it is the one that people say is the better one, or has the longer history. In my opinion, if you really want to get into this and enjoy, it's just try everything. Regions, brands, prices. Being expensive doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best.
Not necessarily.
Being cheap is not necessarily means that it's bad, especially here in the UK, where you know, really cheap cigars are not available, you know?
Correct.
Because of how things work. So everything that comes to the UK in general is a good quality cigar.
In general, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just try and experiment. Don't be scared of sticking to a region that somebody said, oh, that is the wine region, or that is the cigar region.
Absolutely.
Just experiment.
And I'll tell you something. I have a fantastic friend of mine. I love him. And he has decided that the wine world is too big for him. And he's been collecting for many, many years. His father was a big collector. He's a big collector. He has decided to specialize in Riesling from Germany. Okay. So that's absolutely his right. That's it. Those wines are delicious, which, by the way, fantastic white wine for smoking cigars. And he has decided, no, this is too much. I want to specialize here. And he has a beautiful collection of those wines, and he enjoys them, and he's very knowledgeable on those wines, and I think that's fantastic. You have decided, listen, this is my lane. Go for it. In my case in particular, I would think, well, but I don't want to miss the other stuff, you know? I don't want to just drink wines from Spain or just drink wines from France. I want a bit of diversity and difference and compare things. If that's you, by all means do that. But as you said, try not to get stuck. If you want to do it intentionally, do it intentionally. But there's so much to try in terms of wine and cigars that the question will be, why not? I
mean, you can always, like your friend, you can, if you're trying to build a collection, you want to build a Cuban or Dominican or whatever collection,
go for it.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here is trying different things and enjoying different things.
Absolutely.
If don't just stick to one region to try, unless you really want to do that. But you don't have to. You can open up, and that's how you learn and you pick up different profiles and all of this. So get to that and try that. Ken, obviously we're talking about pairing cigars with wine, but normally wine we pair as well with food.
Yeah.
Any principles that we should follow when we say we had a good lunch or a nice dinner, and we're thinking of at the end we're going to enjoy a cigar?
Yeah.
We have to think of all the steps that are going to get us to the end. Anything we should follow? Any ideas? Anything you could recommend?
My favorite principle?
Yep.
I have two that I really like. There are many, I guess, but I like two very much. Don't pair wine with a dish, pair it with the recipe.
Okay.
When people ask you, does this wine go well with pasta? Then the follow-up question is,
what pasta? which what you put in on that pasta?
With sauce. With what are the, right?
Yeah.
And then when you understand the recipe, you go like, that little bit of pepper will go well with this. That little bit of basil will go well with that. So pair with the recipe, easy. You understand the building blocks of the dish, and you understand the style of the wine. It will be more. It will be much easier. And also, another thing is, wherever you go, eat what they eat and drink what they drink. It's for a reason.
Yeah.
They might have been doing it for hundreds of years. So just
give it a try.
Give it a try. If you want to bring your stuff to show them a little bit of what's in your neck of the woods. But one of the best things in going to regions in Spain is drinking the wine that they produce right there, with the cheese from there, with the thing right there, the goat they killed it right there from the neighbor. Like, it makes so much sense, right? So that's basically it. The rest, have fun and enjoy.
Okay, and that's been really nice. Thank you for all the advice.
Thank you so much.
I have one last question.
Yes.
Do you have memory of a great pairing you've done within a wine and a cigar? 100%. And can you tell us what was being the most memorable one? Doesn't mean that it's the best cigar or the best wine.
Yeah.
Memorable for you.
Well, there's so many to mention, but there's one in particular, is being in Santiago in the Dominican Republic, sitting in the backyard of the house with my uncle to my right-hand side. He's normally playing the guitar or doing something. We're just having a deep conversation. We're both smoking cigars, normally Dominican, but it could have been from anywhere. And we're normally having American wine because he loves American and Spanish wine. So we're either drinking an American or Spanish wine, normally on the bulkier side. He likes like strong wines from those two countries. And I have the best stories of that happening, that in that place with my uncle. It's impossible to recreate anywhere else in the world. So I love that.
I like your answer because you didn't mention a wine or a cigar. You mentioned the moment,
Absolutely,
the ritual.
100%.
And that's what happens when you, like, I find that with cigars. You get to, it's like a timestamp to a moment in time.
Correcto.
And that is what you remember. And that's
100%.
really nice.
100%.
All right, guys, I thought if you enjoyed it, any questions, leave it in the comments below. I will obviously link Ken below, probably his Instagram, so that you guys can contact him if you want. Maybe the wines as well. Any information we can put in the comments below, we will.
Yes.
Ken, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
we can do this again, my friend.
100%. Lovely seeing you. Hasta
Chévere.
la próxima y salud.
Salud, hermano.
Chin chin.
I'll try this one.
Con esa. Chin chin. Salud.
Cheers, guys.